The Art of the Deal with 10 Wheels by Michael Thomas. So let's dive into the most important subject of your logistics career, The Art of the Deal with 10 Wheels. This book is a roadmap to building a freight empire, and every chapter is grounded in real-world experience. Chapter 1. The First Decision. You don't build a deal until you build a decision. Before teaching anyone how to move freight, Michael teaches them how to make decisions. After more than 20 years immersed in the American logistics industry, he has learned that what separates successful logistics entrepreneurs from struggling ones isn't access to load boards, licenses, or even capital. It's clarity. Clarity in purpose. Clarity in position. Clarity about the kind of business you're building. Too many people jump into trucking or brokering without understanding what they are stepping into. Logistics isn't a hustle, it's a system, and the first decision you make sets every other piece into motion. Before you buy a truck, apply for an MC number or call your first shipper. Ask yourself what kind of operator you plan to be. Are you building a transactional gig, or are you establishing a freight asset that will grow in value, consistency, and power? That decision determines your trajectory. Everything else, lane selection, equipment financing, driver onboarding, trailer configuration, and even your insurance premiums flows from that initial clarity. Consider questions about your long-term vision and the type of freight that aligns with it. Think about whether you want to operate locally, regionally, or across states. Evaluate if your current life and finances can withstand the pressure of launching a logistics business, and whether you're financially prepared to cover operating costs as you learn. Many startups lose momentum because the freight they pursue doesn't match their lifestyle, funding, or operational structure. Freight is a business model. Choosing refrigerated versus flatbed freight isn't just about trailers. It's about service demands, detention time, driver temperament, and lane profitability. Understand the costs involved. This is a capital-intensive industry requiring discipline. Overcommitting credit or miscalculating operating costs can destroy your margins. So think carefully about how you buy your truck, whether you have maintenance reserves, and how you calculate your break-even cost per mile. Make sure you can afford the insurance requirements for your chosen freight category, and don't quit your job prematurely. Build your company while keeping your income intact, because cash flow gives you time to grow smart. This chapter isn't just about planning, it's about alignment. Skipping these decisions leads to mismatched drivers, wrong lanes, inappropriate equipment, and regional misunderstandings. The result is burnout, lost capital, and retreat. A logistics company is an operational ecosystem that includes drivers, freight, compliance, equipment, cash flow, dispatch, and relationships. These pieces must align under one vision, otherwise the business drifts. Begin with precision, and every load, phone call, and negotiation becomes a step toward a legacy. Start here, build the decision, and the deal begins to build itself. Chapter 2. The First Deal. The load that changes your life is the one that teaches you how to structure income. There is always a defining moment, your first real deal, that shifts your perspective from startup stress to strategic income. It could be your first direct shipper contract, your first truck placed under a managed agreement, or your first carrier partnership that pays weekly. You'll remember this moment because it shows you how income flows in logistics. Who pays, how often, who's responsible for what, and where your margins live. Every load must have intention. Whether you're the carrier, broker, or investor, every move needs to lead somewhere. A good first deal can open doors for more equipment placement, dedicated lanes, and even passive income structures. The smartest logistics professionals don't chase random freight. They negotiate structured, reliable deals that give them operational control. That's where leverage lives. Freight doesn't move itself. It takes the right truck, the right trailer, the right driver, and you, the deal maker. Your job is to bring those elements together and hold them together. Logistics doesn't run on luck. It runs on accountability. When you sign a rate confirmation, your word becomes your bond. Many people underestimate their own role, thinking the driver or equipment makes everything happen. But it happens because you aligned it, negotiated it, and ensured it ran on time. That's the role of the deal maker. You are the bridge between opportunity and execution. Michael reminds his students and partners that a person's word is their bond. Freight runs on trust. A missed call can collapse a contract. A broken promise can ruin a lane. When people know that if you say it's going to happen, it happens, opportunities multiply. This chapter reinforces that you are not just a logistics player, you're a logistics leader. And the stronger your word, the bigger your opportunities. Chapter 3, the where and who. Freight is a relationship with a region. Build where the money is. Find it and grow. Geography is not a backdrop. It's the battleground. Many trucking companies fail because they don't understand their region. They buy trucks and get authority without researching where the freight is and who controls it. Freight flows through specific lanes, ports, rail hubs, and industrial regions. Successful operators research demand, capacity tightness, and sustainable rates. This chapter covers two themes, the where and the who. The where involves researching high-value lanes, terminals, ports, and major corridors. You need to study state-by-state contract freight, seasonal shifts, and industrial hubs. Instead of guessing, target your operations to the geography that fits your equipment. If you run reefer freight, understand produce seasons. If you operate flatbeds, know where steel, lumber, or oil flows. Aligning your equipment to the right geography stops you from chasing loads and instead attracts opportunity. The who involves identifying the human element behind freight, the brokers specializing in certain lanes or industries, dispatchers with networks that fit your trailer type, shippers with repeat freight and contract volumes, and drivers who know the region and can execute under pressure. Your role is to build relationships. Freight moves through trust, so you need to become the go-to person for a particular type of movement in a particular region. When you understand both the where and the who, you position yourself to grow through equipment placement, placing other people's trucks under your structure, offering drivers access to lanes you control, and attracting investors to buy trucks and plug into your system. That's what building where the money is really means. Chapter 4, the $1 million handshake. Every dock is a door to your future. In logistics, your next opportunity isn't just in the rate, it's in the relationship. Michael's most profitable deals didn't come from emails or load boards. They came from human connection and trust. Every dock, dispatch call, and driver check-in is a chance to create something bigger. The true power of this business is in turning small talk into strategy and casual contact into capital. Your driver is not just a driver, they're your boots-on-the-ground strategist. They are your eyes, your voice, and often your deal closer, but only if you view them as a partner. Michael doesn't hire drivers. He partners with professionals who want to grow something together. Your business won't scale with turnover and chaos. It will scale with loyalty and alignment. You're looking for someone who understands the mission and wants to win alongside you. One handshake with a true business-minded driver can become the prototype for expansion. A trusted driver can help you build additional trucks, repeat lanes, shared investments, and a pipeline of future drivers. Michael has seen students go from one truck to managing fleets of 10 or more because they treated handshakes as foundations. A good driver scouts terminals, talks to dock workers, and identifies inefficiencies. They represent your brand every day. When that driver is aligned with your mission, turnover decreases, consistency increases, and your leverage with brokers and shippers strengthens. This relationship becomes your most valuable asset because it's reliable and repeatable. Michael encourages connecting with potential drivers by being human. Go to truck stops, fuel stations, CDL schools, and distribution centers. Introduce yourself, ask questions, and listen. Many professional drivers are looking for respect and real partnerships. When you meet a great driver, treat that introduction as a potential deal. Share your vision and show that you want to build something real. Drivers can become fleet leads, investor advisors, or partial owners because the first handshake was made with respect. This is how you build $1 million freight company, one handshake at a time. Chapter 5, a license is not a business, a deal is. Paper doesn't pay, partnerships do. It's dangerous to think that once you get your MC number, you're officially in business. A license doesn't pay you, a deal does. Your DOT and MC authority merely give you permission. Unless you know how to create consistent revenue through partnerships, contracts, and equipment leverage, that authority will sit unused or cost you money. Used correctly, your MC number becomes a leverage tool. It allows you to offer structure to other drivers, place other people's equipment under your operation, and attract quality drivers, investors, and freight relationships. A well-managed MC number becomes a financial asset. In today's market, an MC that's over 12 months old with clean compliance and operational history can be worth over $100,000. Many shippers and high-level brokers won't work with new authorities under 6 to 12 months. The longer your MC is active and compliant, the more doors it opens and the easier it becomes to get better insurance rates, on board with top-tier load boards, and qualify for dedicated contracts. Think of your MC number like a franchise license or a piece of commercial real estate. It doesn't produce income on its own, but when you start leasing trucks under it, brokering loads through it, and building operational consistency around it, the numbers start to climb. Michael teaches his students to use their MC as a launching point, not a destination. Start placing trucks under your authority and find drivers who align with your mission. Use your MC to give them a home. In return, you gain their experience, referrals, and equipment. When you shift from being license-focused to deal-focused, everything expands. You stop asking what you can get and start asking what you can build with others. There's also a strategy in purchasing an aged MC number. If you have the chance to buy a used DOT or MC number that's over 2 years old and in good standing, and the price is affordable, it can be one of the smartest moves. A seasoned authority gives you instant access to brokers and shippers who won't touch new authorities, allows you to bypass waiting periods and insurance hikes, and positions you for high-level freight. Just ensure it has a solid safety measurement system profile, a clean record, and at least one past DOT inspection. Your MC can be the hub of a multi-truck operation, but only if you understand how to package and present it. Use it to create a regional fleet financed by other people, secure dedicated shipper opportunities, build scalable dispatching and back-office solutions, and develop a brand identity that attracts drivers and clients. When you recognize that your license is the doorway to building something bigger with the right people, you start attracting dedicated lanes, exclusive regional agreements, shipper-side contracts, and financing partners who want to fuel your fleet. This is the art of turning paperwork into a paycheck. Chapter 6. The Art of Passive Trucking. Let your truck make money even when you sleep. This chapter introduces the LFS passive income model, a blueprint that turns trucks into assets and logistics into freedom. The formula is straightforward. Buy the right truck, place it under expert management, and structure it into a system that earns weekly revenue through real freight. But Michael takes it further. Don't just own the truck, own the management company. When you control the management, you control the growth. Your truck becomes a prototype, then you bring in investor-owned equipment, trucks you didn't pay for, operating under your freight model. Your passive income becomes tied to volume, not just single unit revenue. To make this work, you need a team, sharp dispatchers who understand lanes and rates, a skilled freight salesperson to negotiate and close, and a transportation management system that offers real-time control. The right team isn't about laziness. It's about building a system that runs whether you're present or not. But be careful about partners. Misaligned leadership can destroy a promising model. Every player must believe in the mission and operate with clarity, discipline, and skill. So build a team of people who live and breathe logistics. Train them through Freight University so that everyone speaks the same language. Implement systems, create standard procedures, and measure results. Automation helps, but it must be smart. The team isn't a cost, it's an investment worth millions. Educated teams make confident decisions, and confident decisions make money. Invoke your thinking. Design your system. Don't rely on others to hand you a check. Build the highway that produces one. Ask how you can structure the business so it runs without you day to day. What you need if you had 10 trucks instead of one, and who you'd need to scale to a $5 million operation. Map your end goal, reverse engineer the systems, build your playbook, train your team, and automate smartly. Passive income isn't about shortcuts. It's about replicating a system that earns while you sleep. Chapter 7. The driver-broker hybrid, owning both sides of the road. From steering wheel to shippers, become the architect. Whether you drive a rig or fund one, you are more than your title. You're a strategist with leverage at your fingertips. If you know how to move freight, work with drivers, or connect deals, you already understand logistics. Now learn to own both sides of the road, as a carrier and as a broker. This hybrid model is a growth strategy for anyone serious about building a multi-million-dollar logistics operation. The more you understand how to broker freight, the more control you have over revenue, volume, and scaling. Brokering gives you power beyond asset dependence. Instead of managing one truck and schedule, you can manage dozens of loads a day, each producing revenue and expanding your footprint. When combined with your carrier operation, the hybrid strategy increases your authority's freight volume, attracts more drivers, enhances your negotiation leverage, and builds trust with shippers. Michael has seen individuals go from a single load per day to moving freight at scale, generating 7 figures annually because they learn to own both lanes of the business. When your driver is also a broker, they gather intelligence at every dock, talk to shipping managers, and identify opportunities. Don't waste that. You can earn 6 figures while still driving, build relationships that last beyond the road, launch a brokerage that feeds your trucking fleet and offers services to other carriers. It's a blueprint for exponential growth. Running a brokerage is cheaper than a trucking company because you're not buying assets or managing repairs. Yet the earning potential is much higher because a single broker can move hundreds of loads per day with modest margins on each load. The hybrid model isn't optional. It's essential if you want to scale. A brokerage and carrier operations must be integrated. One feeds the other. The brokerage creates deals. The trucking company executes them. Separating them is why many operations plateau. When you run both, you gain leverage because shippers trust brokers who can execute, and carriers respect brokers who own equipment. This synergy allows you to build contracts, negotiate stronger rates, reduce empty miles, and improve margins. Ultimately, the model creates what Michael calls deal gravity. Bigger deals are drawn to you because you have control over both capacity and freight. This circular approach, where your brokerage feeds your trucks and your trucks reinforce your brokerage, creates a self-sustaining ecosystem. One deal can open doors to more, and a well-executed lane can lead to regional and national contracts. When your infrastructure speaks volumes, the right people listen. That's how you move from running loads to running the industry. Chapter 8, building the deal, not just the load. 100 random loads is not success. One strategic lane is. There is a fundamental shift when you stop thinking like a load chaser and start thinking like a freight architect. Success in logistics isn't found in randomness, but in consistency. Moving 100 loads a week on the spot market doesn't mean you're building anything. It just means you're busy. Real freight empires are built on repeatable lanes, repeat customers, and repeat revenue. To achieve this, you must anchor your business in data, strategy, and freight research. Stop guessing and start analyzing. Target one lane, master it, and replicate your success. Michael warns against relying on the spot market, which is inconsistent and full of low-paying loads and tight margins. Spot freight ruins retention, weakens your brand, and pulls your drivers in too many directions. Freight research, studying volume, rates, geography, and seasonal patterns is the cure. When you build with research, you build for the long run. And when your entire team understands freight research, you move from surviving to dominating. He teaches that every dispatcher, carrier representative, and sales team member should know how to read the freight landscape, understand rate indexes, analyze trends, and forecast volumes. That way, you stop chasing and start attracting. This is why he built Freight University, to embed this knowledge into teams for free. Then instead of chasing randomness, you identify a high-demand lane, provide value beyond capacity with tracking and professional communication, turn one load into a lane by asking customers about other needs. Match drivers or carriers who know the route and track metrics diligently. Building a lane into a deal brings predictable cash flow, stable operations, and strategic positioning. This chapter emphasizes that if you build your operation around structured deals, you avoid the chaos of the spot market. You build with confidence and attract real partners. The deal is in the strength of the relationship behind the loads, not the number of loads. Master one lane, build into it, and replicate. That's how freight empires are born. Chapter 9. The 10-Wheel Playbook. Michael introduces the 10-Wheel Playbook, a system that scales true income, not fantasy, in trucking and logistics. He insists on using new warranted equipment because you can't afford breakdowns when deals, drivers, and your reputation are on the line. He outlines 10 essential wheels of your operation, covering trucks, trailers, maintenance, technology, dispatch and back office, compliance systems, team building, revenue control, training and education, and licenses. His guidelines stress that the truck supports the deal, not the other way around. Invest in new or warranted trucks like Freightliner Cascadias or Volvo VNLs, and choose the right trailers, new dry van or reefer units with maintenance contracts to protect your brand and profits. Set up national accounts with service providers to ensure uptime, and use telematics and fleet management apps for real-time diagnostics. Preventative maintenance protects your income and brand. Delays cost money and trust. Technology is your cockpit. Use a TMS that integrates with accounting, dispatch, driver communication, and ELD systems, such as Ascend TMS and Motive, formerly Keep Truckin'. Monitor cost per mile versus revenue per mile, and track idle time, empty miles, and weekly margins. Build a professional dispatch and back office team trained in load booking, route planning, factoring, billing, and detention collection. Use free training at freightuniversity.online to standardize knowledge across your team. Compliance is king. Running new equipment helps, but you must handle driver qualification files, hours of service, vehicle maintenance, drug and alcohol programs, and CSA monitoring meticulously. Compliance isn't overhead, it's leverage. It lowers insurance and raises rates. Build a culture that values safety, reward clean inspections, and hire a compliance champion to guard your authority, turn data into dollars, and coach drivers toward excellence. Michael underscores that your team is your greatest asset. They must be logistics fluent, financially disciplined, and goal-aligned. Educate them through Freight University, implement standard operating procedures, define roles and measure results. Use automation to scale, but ensure the right people are in place. Educated teams make confident calls, which translates into profits. Your license and compliance aren't your business. The deals you make with the right infrastructure and team are. Chapter 10, Compliance is King, and the King pays in cash. The FMCSA didn't write those regulations to slow you down. They wrote them to separate pretenders from professionals. Choose your side. Michael doesn't chase freight with sloppy fleets, and neither should you. When a broker questions his rates, he presents a spotless CSA report and an insurance agent who keeps lowering premiums because of his safety record. Compliance isn't paperwork, it's a profit lever. Master it, and the doors that slam on everyone else swing wide open for you. He explains why compliance pays: cheaper insurance, first call status with shippers, fewer dock delays, stronger rates, better financing, and easy credit. He treats every CSA point like a ding on his credit score, unacceptable and fixable. His 6 pillars of FMCSA dominance include impeccable driver qualification files, strict hours of service and ELD integrity, preventive maintenance on new equipment, rigorous drug and alcohol testing, strategic insurance management, and careful accident register and CSA monitoring. He demonstrates how to bake compliance into company DNA. Lead by example, provide micro-training sessions, use transparent telematics, post public scoreboards, and build a cashback culture that rewards safety. Michael employs a compliance champion who guards the authority, turns data into dollars, and coaches drivers. This role's weekly rhythm covers CSA trend reports, driver qualification file audits, telematics deep dives, vendor calls, shipper safety reports, and driver training. He weaponizes compliance by marketing metrics, pre-qualifying premium freight, negotiating insurance rebates, bypassing weigh stations, and monetizing his safety platform. He offers a 30-day money play to digitize files, scan logs, perform preventive maintenance, file data queues on bad points, pitch compliance equals cash to shippers, and run a compliance-driven sales play. The bottom line, compliance isn't overhead, it's leverage. Your CSA profile is your public resume. Clean data lets you charge more, insure cheaper, and grow faster. Master the rulebook, and you'll write your own checks. Chapter 11, Shippers, Carriers, and Strategy. The Triangle of Power. Freight isn't a straight line, it's a triangle. Own every corner and the loads chase you. In trucking school, they teach you to move a load from point A to point B, but in reality, the money moves in triangles, between the shipper who pays, the carrier who hauls, and the strategist who aligns them both. Nail one corner and the board tilts in your favor. Secure two corners and the third is naturally pulled into place. This cascading leverage is why one well-structured deal can snowball into a network of opportunities. He calls this the triangle of power: shippers, carriers, and strategic intent. Once the triangle is locked, it morphs into what he calls the octagon effect. Additional relationships, from fuel cards and maintenance programs to warehousing partners and tech providers, sprout from the stability of the triangle. The octagon isn't theory, it's the natural expansion path of a well-run triangle. Master the core corners and you will watch ancillary profits appear. He explains how one deal snaps the triangle into place. A lane lives or dies on execution. Execution rides on the truck's uptime and the driver's buy-in. Secure your equipment, set your compensation structure, and build a culture that treats the driver as a partner. Drivers must be aligned with clear expectations, performance bonuses, and transparent communication. Then, secure shippers by offering predictability, visibility, and accountability. Present clean CSA scores and driver retention rates, offer a 90-day trial lane at a fair rate, and after flawless service, shift the conversation to volume. When carrier capacity and shipper freight align, your role as the strategist is to multiply margin without multiplying chaos. Use backhaul brokerage, volume scaling, rate optimization, compliance leverage, and data storytelling to enhance margin. 1 lane mastered equals 1 triangle. 10 lanes mastered equals a territory. Copy and paste the playbook city by city until your triangles overlap like a freight constellation. When you own the triangle, you don't chase the market, you shape it. Chapter 12, the Dispatch Command Center. When you think you're dispatching, you're really brokering. Michael reframes dispatch as a deal desk. He recalls visiting a dispatch office that looked and sounded like a brokerage. Every phone call was a negotiation. Every rate confirmation, a micro-contract. Dispatch isn't the back office of trucking, it's the trading floor of freight. Once he embraced that truth, he built his own command center as a profit engine. Dispatch is brokerage in a baseball cap. The skill set is identical: matching capital, shipper's budget, with capacity, carrier's truck, and arbitraging the difference for margin. Michael set up 3 circles on his whiteboard: deal desk, capacity grid, and compliance vault. If a task didn't fit in one of those circles, it didn't belong. He invested in a cloud TMS, a VoIP system, and a factoring line that paid invoices quickly. He didn't spend on fancy furniture, he spent on technology. He staffs the command center like an airline cockpit. Broker dispatchers must hit $1,000 in gross margin per day, and he pays them a percentage of what they close. A compliance lead guards the vault to avoid cargo claims and risk. A shipper success representative proactively communicates with customers, turning hiccups into loyalty. With modest payroll, technology, and rent, break-even is low. Everything beyond that becomes profit. Michael sells services without owning trucks. Full-cycle dispatch, booking, tracking, invoicing, and collecting. Back-office solutions for fleets, emergency capacity, and dedicated lane management. Compliance remains an invisible multiplier. He markets metrics like CSA scores and on-time stats to justify premiums. He lays out revenue math showing how a small command center can generate nearly $1 million in gross margin annually. He shares how he built his first command center in 30 days and includes a case study of a student who built a profitable dispatch service without owning equipment. The takeaway is that dispatch is brokerage you can start tomorrow. It's the engine that keeps every triangle and octagon spinning without needing to buy more trucks. Build the grid, guard the vault, and let the deal desk ring like a cash register. Chapter 13. Exit Strategy. Turning Freight into Freedom. You didn't build a hustle, you built an asset. Now decide whether to scale it, sell it, or let it pay you while you sleep. The goal of this journey isn't just to stay busy, it's to create freedom. The kind that lets you choose how and when you work, and eventually, whether you need to work at all. Exits aren't accidents, they are engineered. Michael presents different exit lanes based on your goals. Keeping the command center and collecting distributions, packaging the business for a strategic sale, spinning off services, or licensing your MC and systems. Decide your exit lane first, then reverse engineer your operations to support it. He outlines what should be in your due diligence binder, including profit and loss statements, lane analytics, compliance history, customer and carrier metrics, and a library of standard operating procedures. Buyers invest in proof, not dreams. To maximize your valuation, build owner-independent operations. No buyer wants to inherit a job, they want a machine. Michael suggests 5 pillars. Leadership that removes you from daily ops, documented SOPs to make talent replaceable, a financial rhythm that predicts problems early, a culture code that locks behavior into DNA, and risk redundancy to ensure breakdowns are survivable. Run a 4-week exit drill, delegate negotiations, automate invoicing, let your general manager present financials and disappear for 72 hours to see what breaks. He explains how to earn a 4 to 6 times multiple on EBITDA by diversifying revenue, locking contracts, maintaining clean compliance, using tech ready for integrations, and having a succession plan. Plot your wealth across 3, 5, and 10-year milestones, deciding whether to keep the business, license systems, or sell. He shares case studies of entrepreneurs who cashed out and still earn passive income. He provides an action checklist to execute an exit in 90 days, from choosing your lane and drafting due diligence materials to locking contracts and marketing quietly to buyers. The final takeaway is that freedom is engineered. Start with the end in mind. Let numbers speak. Replace yourself, de-risk the deal, and build a system that becomes legacy. Michael reminds you that the freight game rewards the hustler, but it crowns the architect. Design your exit while others chase the next load. Throughout this journey, remember that logistics isn't just about moving goods. It's about designing systems, building partnerships, and crafting deals that lead to legacy. Whether you start with a single truck or a brokerage, whether you're a driver or an investor, you have the power to build something bigger than yourself. Embrace the art of the deal with 10 wheels. Think strategically and be the architect of your freight empire. Top of form, bottom of form.